sniping and at killing at point-blank range. So the French Foreign Legion is a unit that I would have brought in right away.
It's a legion of assassins, is it not a legion of assassins?
Well, that's what war is. I mean, these are guys who are controlled, disciplined, highly effective assassins. If I were ISIS, and really I'm not that good from the ISIS point of view, from the point of view of what was said in the media, you think these were brilliant combatants. No, ISIS is not. They've been trained in certain techniques. Shooting hostages at point blank or creating explosives is not a great military feat. However, the French Foreign Legion can penetrate them very quickly. They speak Arabic, they know their enemy exceedingly well, and they will come into close quarters. From the point of view of the United States, we're doing exactly what we should be doing, flying out of Turkey and then insisting that Turkey bring in its ground forces, because for the first time, Turkish soldiers are Sunni soldiers, and they know how to fight. And the Turks were very effective for us in Korea and in Vietnam, and they are, when they want to be, lethal killers, and they are the most effective on the ground, along with the French Foreign Legion and the Shiite fighters.
So you think the decision's been made now to triple-cross ISIS by the West? Or
yes.
What?
But the most important decision in that is really to kind of get into the royal family of Saudi Arabia and insist that they step down or stop funding ISIS.
I began to get into iodine a few years ago because it was helping me and my family so much get healthy and detoxify. I believe our research is conclusive. This is the best iodine out there. And I know this for a fact. Nobody else has got iodine based on these pure crystals, ladies and gentlemen.
For a limited time, experience the ancient power of Survival Shield X2.
I believe our research is conclusive. This is the best iodine out there.
Take advantage of this at InfoWarsLife.com.
And why wearing a Hillary for President t-shirt might get you punched in the face.
They thought it said Hillary for President. He said, I was seconds away from sending my bar back over here to punch you in the face. Since you're wearing a Hillary for Prison shirt, you don't have to buy drinks here. Everything's on the house.
Hillary for prison! Hillary's not surging, I tell you that. They're not saying that. They're not saying that. Thank you.
There you have it. Donald Trump endorses Hillary for Prison. Get your Hillary for Prison 2016 t-shirt at the InfoWars store. And on the back, it says, legalize freedom. Show your disapproval of Hillary by buying your t-shirt today.
But what she's done is criminal.
This is an American president. Just add puppet, then vote and repeat every 4 years.
Now, joining me in studio is Jakari Jackson. Now, Jakari, would you take a sucker punch from a robot?
No, I think I would pass on that one.
Well, they're actually now testing robots to see how hard can they hit a human before they risk injury. Of course, they're doing this for your safety.
I don't know how they
future.
possibly conceive this as being for my safety.
Well, so here is this new test. Volunteers are blindfolded, and the machine swings at their hands or arms, and then they rate how painful it was while an ultrasound scans their look. They scan them and then look for any bruises. So this is, aimed at making robots safer as they appear in people's homes. I guess they're going to try and teach robots about, just how delicate the human flesh is for when the rise of the machines take over. And, they're given the ability to beat us and destroy us. This is an alarm clock that slaps you in the face in order to wake you up.
Oh, wow. That's like an old Seinfeld joke that actually came to reality.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, this is kind of like the government thing with this whole robot takeover. How hard can they hit you before you buckle under pressure? So it's all kind of coming true.
Wow.
Same thing with the economy, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is all coming about because last year or earlier this year, a man was killed in a Volkswagen factory in Germany after a robot grabbed him and crushed him against a metal plate. So as we start to incorporate robots within the workplace, they have to make sure that we can all, get along.
Is it like a assembly line robot or?
Right. And it was in the automobile factory. So
wow.
They want to avoid future incidents like this. So here you go. It's a whole new side of workplace violence that you have to worry about. Now, Black Friday is upon us, or I'm sorry, gift purchasing Friday. So I don't want to be racist. And a lot of people are going to be looking for new televisions. So every year we always talk about how, these smart devices are spying on you. And now here, mainstream media, is your TV spying on you? And it's now a report of how the Vizio smart televisions track your data so that it can be sold to advertisers. Basically, what the TV does is it links your habits to your IP addresses. And then as a result, advertisers can target users through your different mobile devices. And now the thing with this is that cable TV companies and video rental companies are prohibited from selling the information of your viewing habits. But if you're viewing Netflix or anything else through your television, that's kind of that backdoor way that your information can be sold to third parties. So what do you think about that? Have you experienced any targeted advertising?
Well, I mean, like use a service like Netflix. Of course, they give you, similar movies or movie stars if you watch certain programming. But yeah, to see things like this coming out of Vizio, it's that whole big surveillance web, because we've seen not just TVs, but things like TomTom, GPS. They used to sell that information to the police. When they got caught, it's like, oh, sorry, we got caught selling your information.
Yeah.
The CIA directors come out bragging that they're going to spy on you throughout your dishwasher and all these other things that they can do to surveil you or just make money off you any way that they can.
Right. And it's, it's for your convenience, just like, they're making sure the robots aren't going to hit you, hard enough to hurt you.
To death.
Right. Well, speaking of police, we've got this article up on INFOWARS.com. Police civil asset forfeitures exceed all burglaries in 2014. So just to put it in perspective, between 1989 and 2010, U.S. attorneys seized an estimated $12.6 billion in civil asset forfeiture cases. In 2014 alone, that number had ballooned to $4.5 billion for the year. So in burglary offenses in 2014, we're just about an estimated $3.9 billion in property losses, which means the police are now taking more assets than the criminals.
Yeah, that's a very shocking thing. I mean, it doesn't surprise me to hear those numbers, but to see them actually written down, I think it hopes, or at least I hope it'll put it in perspective for people so they can realize that, when we talk about civil asset forfeiture, what these situations are, let's say you're driving down the street, you got $7,000 in the car, cash, whatever. So you get pulled over by an officer, he discovers it for whatever reason, and he seizes the funds, even though you didn't do anything wrong by just having the physical cash on you. So now you have to make this decision. Are you going to spend your money trying to get your money back, or are you just going to let them have it? At the end of the day. Because
you're not innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
You have to prove that you got that money lawfully and legally.
And you plan to use
cash.
it for a legal purpose, which is completely ridiculous.
Right. I mean, I know just years ago, I had $5,000 my mom took out of the bank. This is when you could still do that to buy me a car on the spot because my car broke down and I was completely disabled. And, to do something like that now, my mom's a terrorist. So.
Yeah, they want to track everything you do. That's why people are going more towards these cryptocurrencies and other things that are harder to track. Which, I mean, cash is also more difficult to track, but if you get pulled over, they see, big suitcase full of money, they may ask some questions and even seize your property.
Right. And again, so this is one of the big issues with encryption now. So they're not wanting people to encrypt their phones. And of course, they're saying that it's because of terrorism. And we're seeing, out of these Paris attacks, that this is going to be one of the big things for 2016 with encryption.
Well, we've also seen the CIA director. He's come out and said that things we have here in our country, like the Fourth Amendment, are actually hindering their terrorism investigations. I think they could pretty much cripple the terrorists if they stop giving them guns and bombs and, vehicles to ride around. And I think that'd cripple more than
radical idea.
I think that would cripple the terrorists more than anything else. But that makes too much sense. So now the CIA director, Brennan, he came out and he was making these statements because they got a big conference together with CIA, FBI, all the alphabet agencies. They said, hey, If we just could do away with this thing called the Fourth Amendment and just spy on anybody at any time, which they do already, but I guess they're spying on everybody except the terrorist.
Right. No, because it's always that they were under surveillance, but they somehow slipped through, or they were known to the CIA or FBI or
yeah, just like the Zarnair brothers, regardless of what you think about that whole situation or that whole official story, these guys, or at least the older brother, was under surveillance. I think Napolitano at the time was director of DHS. She was briefed on these guys, but yet they're still running around and doing all the things they said that they did.
But you just said something pretty radical about not arming ISIS and everything. President Obama specifically said that he doesn't appreciate people popping off with ideas of how we could actually,
how we could actually end these conflicts and, stop all the things that are going on. But yeah, it's nothing new, because people will hear us make statements like this, like, oh, you guys are just Republicans. Reagan did things like this, Iran-Contra, all this other stuff. The Mujahideen, Mrs. Clinton, who I'm not vouching for in any way, shape, or form, but she has made the point that we're arming the people that we're fighting today, or we have done that in the past. Yeah. And people just can't get this. It's just this continuous cycle. It's like running a football play. If the quarterback sneak up the middle gets you the touchdown every time, just keep running the same play. If they don't get smart enough to realize what's going on, just keep doing the same thing. That's exactly what keeps happening.
Right, and it seems as though people will not learn. And of course, now we've got Rand Paul, who's one of the main candidates up there, who's been pretty consistent with liberty and fighting for liberties, fighting for the Constitution. And now with this whole Paris attack thing, he is going to, once again, everyone's going to be like, oh, your foreign policy doesn't even make sense, because now we need this encryption. We need this surveillance in order to stop these terrorist attacks, because the president is forcing refugees upon the states and forcing people to take them. And hopefully jihadists won't embed themselves.
Well, the issue with this, we've seen even the top advisors in Washington, they're telling the president, Mr. Obama, we don't have the resources to vet 10,000 people at one time. They're too busy spying on the American people. So with this said, I have nothing against the immigrants coming from any country, whether they're coming from Central America, South America, they're coming from Pakistan, they're coming from Yemen. Like I was telling David today earlier on the show, on the Alex Jones show, I understand somebody in Yemen who wants to come here because they're blowing up your wedding parties with drones. I understand that. I understand that if you live in some foreign country and they send a jet to blow up your hospital, you want to leave that area. I completely understand that 100%. My issue is we have politicians, and like I said, it didn't start with Obama, it's been going on for a very long time, who are going into these foreign countries, making situations worse. And then even after they spend your tax dollars to make the situation worse, they want you to spend more of your tax money, Leanne, to bring the people here. Like I said, no issue with the people coming here. My issue is with the politicians in Washington who continue these practices and screw us, the American taxpayer, both ways, while they're screwing the people coming from these other countries.
Absolutely.
Every way possible.
And that's the big issue, is that with the whole mastering the human domain, they're already mastering the United States, these other European countries where they have all of this surveillance set up. But with these other countries where they haven't been able to set up these databases to surveil them and control every move that they make, that is the issue with being able to vet these people, is that they haven't mastered the human domain just yet. It's, of course, the areas, here in America where people get their Vizio television and allow themselves to be spied on left and right. Well, Jakari, thank you so much for joining me in the last segment with the News Blitz. And for all of you out there, if you're watching us on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. And you can also become a subscriber to prisonplanet.tv. Your subscription will get you instant access to over 18 years worth of amazing content. We'll see you here again tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central.
Knockout is back. If you want a product that has 10 known ingredients that naturally get your body to relax, your brain to relax, so you get deep, restful sleep, Knockout's it. InfoWarsLife.com. L-theanine, hops flower extract, lemon balm extract, valerian root extract, chamomile flower extract, L-tryptophan extract, melatonin, and more. All organic, all the natural sources. It's the same price as leading brands of melatonin that are 3 milligrams apiece. It has 3 milligrams, the standard recommended dose for an adult. It's got the GABA. So it would probably cost $50 to take all this as separate pills. It's $19.95. You take 1 or 2 of these, and it just is really clean, restful sleep is what the reviews are. It's what I've experienced.
and it just synergistically puts everything in there. InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com, or call 888-253-3139.
You are watching the InfoWars Nightly News, which airs 7 p.m. Central at InfoWarsNews.com. And your support is helping us defend liberty worldwide.